and I was like, okay, let me do it today. Welcome to my rumbles, to learn, to have opinions, to share, to laugh, to be sad about, and also to sympathize and empathize on all and everything that involves this life that we are living. And this is for entertainment purposes only. I am not in charge of how you interpret it or what perception you have. Anyway, so victimization, today we are going to talk about victimization and what comes with it, and how sometimes we know people use it as an advantage or a tool to get ahead, or also there are people who are addicted to be sympathized for. um but I'm not blaming. Not every victim decides to become a victim forever. They decide to use it as a testimony or a lesson, to maybe help others, also as a testimony, or also as a life lessons to others. um, w- One way or another, we have gone through life issues. We have either been conned, either be fallen a victim to violence, or even soft. There is a difference between the soft terror and the violent terror, and people react differently. You may even have people who have gone through the soft terror. You, it's not soft. It's just like, for example, being mugged with somebody who's super polite. It may not click for you that time that you've been mugged, uh, or even that something was done wrong to you, because the person was charming, and maybe um, you didn't feel like you're a victim. And later on, you find out, it clicks in you, not finding out, it clicks like, oh, yeah, someone took advantage, or even I was defrauded. Um, I Then we have the ones who take it, the mental state of victimization, and use it like they don't go, they're stuck in a limbo of that uh, terror, and they cannot move on from it. And we have seen it in families, even though sometimes families fail, like saying that they, hi, welcome, welcome. And like most of the families, you hear whatever happens, don't air out the dirty laundry. Whatever happens within that home or family should not be known outside, maybe because one of the members is a predator, or one of the members is a con man to the extreme, and they've conned all the family members that they know, or even they do know, they don't know. And because some people have that embarrassment that that happened to them, they don't talk about it, or even put it in the back burner and forget about it, have um, selective amnesia or such things, or traumatic experiences. That happens depending in the situation. Hello, welcome. Have you been victimized? Have you used it to your advantage sometimes? That's the question of the day. So, recently, that is very disturbing. That is happening here in our country, Kenya. Children have been disappearing. Young children, uh, a lot, from infants to toddlers to young teenager or young adults, and it's 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 a reason to cause an alarm. And then last week, it happened uh, to be seen. through CCTV after a child went missing, a 2-year-old, and following up. This is why this topic came up. Following up to see where the child, like for them, it was normal. The child plays around near the homestead, outside the compound, and plays around, comes back. So it was normal for them to, for their child to play. This time round, he went missing, and then the parents were concerned that they have not seen the child where he usually plays, and they decided to report the case. And when they reported immediately, because the conception that you have to wait for 48 hours or 24 hours for a child, it should be an emergency. We should not have the assumption that, oh, they are on a runaway, or we need to, maybe they're hiding. But as I wish we could have a unit just set aside for child protection, and also emergency lookout, because worldwide right now we know human trafficking is on a rise, and it's extreme. Uh, Reasons being, there's also the organ industry that is happening, and people getting missing, and well, they become organ donations without knowing. Hi, welcome. Hi, Nora, welcome. So now the case of this young boy who was, I don't know if it was a boy or a girl, young child who was 2 years old, which is too young, but I, to each their own, because already me at 2 years I was already in school. But anyway, that aside, I digress. So when the police got the alarm that the child has gone missing around the compound, and at least the neighboring houses had CCTVs for security measures, which was a good thing. It helped. Uh, well, looking at the footages, they saw it was a young girl, a teenager, that lured the child away. So they followed up different CCTVs until they could not find any evidence of where the child disappeared. While following up, the parents were still on toes with the police as they were doing the investigations, so that they were that urgent to see their child. And the father even confessed that they had been trying for years, and this was a child of blessing, that they finally got a child, and now that's the only child. And after many years of trying, and then they get, the child has disappeared. It was an urgency for them. So while doing the rounds of looking where the child went, they find, coincidentally, they met up with a girl shown in the CCTV who lured the child away. She was, some people started greeting her, and when I say greeting her, it's a few beatings, and they wanted even to lynch her before even getting to know where the child was going, or investigations to happen, so that they can know if the child is well, or where where exactly she dropped off the child. So at least the police intervened and said they will question her. And when they questioned her, now the sad story about sometimes the unsettlements issue that comes around, and poverty is not our friend. On being questioned, she said, yeah, I was given instructions to kidnap a child and take them in a particular place, and I will take you there. And the promise that I was given was I'll be given a mobile phone. That was the cost for stealing somebody else's child, as you as a child. And the police were like, okay, you remember where you took the child? Yes, take us there. And the parents were still waiting outside. And once the police came out and said she's going to direct us, take us to where the child was dropped off, the parents said, we are going together. And they went. It was now like a crowd had already, from family, friends, neighbors, and also the nosy people who want to see how far this thing is going, or even the spies of the, maybe the syndicate or that belongs to such issues. And well, they went, the girl directed them to the place. It was, sad to say, it was a makeshift house that was just put up. And funny thing, when they arrived there, here's the most, not even funny, it's the most concerning thing. They found more children in the compound. And the father immediately noticed their child and ran after the child, and the child ran after the father, and they embraced. At least it was a happy ending. Not so many families are having that. Um, the police were like, no, 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 wait, there's a process we need to, and the child was taken to police station in case there was an abuse. It was an abusing case, to follow up so that they can have the reports written and everything. But now the 15-year-old girl is spending her nights, uh, four walls in a jail cell, waiting for her day in court. The people who received the child is only one person who was like the attendant of all the children that were brought to the compound. So even them, they were arrested. And now there are other cases we have had before, in the previous months, that children have disappeared, and some of them have been found, and they're not found fully. They're found missing an arm, missing a leg, which is also another weird thing. You'd expect the organs and whatever, but also abuse happening. But now it's becoming too much, because even Kenyans are saying it should be raised an alarm, because every day you see your friends' WhatsApp, statuses, you find people asking if you found missing child, and mostly missing children, and also special needs children or adults are also missing a lot. And then I asked myself, like in this particular story about this 15-year-old girl who's used to lure another person's child so that they can ferry them away, are they a victim, or are they, I know one way or another they're compliant because of the empty promises or the promises that were given. But also you need to, when does it stop being compliant before you become a victim yourself? Because we also had another case of a child who was, okay, this world has become more and more dangerous for children, because, tell me why a child can go to do homework at a friend's house and end up abused and dead, by killed by the parents of the friends, the father especially, and use his son as a lookout. And the son also goes and intimidate other kids in school and say, if you don't, I tell you this story, my dad did this, and I was the one who's looking out for him, and come and help me dispose of the girl's body, or else my father is going to do to you what he did to the other girl. Now, we say charity begins at home. Yes, not every home is well off, because now we're in the generation, like every teenager, most of them at this age are entitled to have mobile devices or gadgets. And y- we might say, like, oh, don't compare the time of millennials and right now, because yes, the time differences. But I remember when I was young, even though I might compare it a little bit, I touched my first personal that was given to me as my personal mobile phone when I had finished my high school. We keep on saying, yes, the young kids of nowadays have grown older and wiser, but I'm not so sure about the wiser part. Uh, doing because they are in the generation that everything is digital. We have Wi-Fi in the house. We have the televisions that are able to connect to internet. We have learning equipments, that's the iPads and the tablets, and also laptops in school. Some of the schools it's compulsory to have. Yes, the parents guidance control, you can apply them to the system, and whew, you're forgetting these are the kids who have been even taught to be able to decode and writing code. So even if you put a lock in it, the child can easily open it. So how you maneuver around that, it's crazy. Also, because some parents are also raising their children with what their trauma, or even escaping their trauma, saying, I'll not do that to my child because that's what I experienced and I don't want them to experience the same as I did. But you're forgetting. I- It's it's a parent-child relationship. It's not child-friend relationship. I say that by all means because soft parenting mostly doesn't work. You can come for me for that, but time and time again, but also harsh parenting doesn't work also, even strict parenting. Because I remember when we were young, those parents who were strict on their children rebelled, and rebelled in the worst way possible. And you could not find a solution to merge them together because this one is headstrong and this one is headstrong. So it always clashed when it came together. So other than that, um, like the parents, the experience of losing a child, I know they are going to hold that child so dear to their heart and sometimes mother them, which also is not a good thing. Uh, a little bit independence and cautionary. Now, on that note, since it was a teenager that was used to lure other kids, was we have from time and time again in the past, we have been taught stranger danger, don't believe a stranger, an adult stranger, not necessarily told, I don't believe kids, because you'd expect kids have no ill intent from other kids. But nowadays we do have psychopaths who are kids, and they do even the worst things. You've seen them, the school shootings and crazy things. So when do we stop the victimization from carrying on into other generations, or even to spill over to other people? It's a lot, I know. It's a long topic that we need to really dig deep in it. But now, for now, I'm still in shock that kids can be used to lower other kids, and we have reached that age that we are fearful for everyone. I don't know how, anyone and everyone, because in families we have had issues about family members being predators. In schools, same thing with the staff, and also kids themselves, because of the bullying that sometimes gets very extreme. And then now you're telling me even your neighbor's kids can, because that girl's, according to the video, so the girl was not living so far from where the child's home was. So it's either they know the child, like a survey, and they know which child to manipulate, or even sometimes it doesn't even have to be manipulation. It's just the promises of things that really entice the young ones. It's sad, but we'll talk about it more soon after some time. I need first to come out of it. And yeah, it's shocking and sad. Mhm. Until thank you for all those who joined and said hi, liked, subscribed. I'm fine, except sad and shocked. Until next week on Tuesday or any day that I'm not trained. Bye. La,